no morning, sige lang. Kaya lang, sama din. Pwede stop, alwas tayo stop din, pe. Sometimes, pwede mo ka tan.
Okay. Being a VSA volunteer means going to somewhere you've never been before and trying to help any way you can. And yeah, there's not just your own goals at stake, there's the goal of the capacity that you're trying to build. So you're trying to impart knowledge and get the status or whatever uplifted in that area. And so that's a pretty lofty goal, but if you can, achieve some part of that, then I feel like we're doing some good. My volunteer position is partly funded by the SPC's partnership agreement with the VSA, and through our interaction here with the SPC, they've just been providing support to me in terms of somebody to talk to if I need some extra advice. And then about halfway through this year, Michelle and I and Brooks went to Fiji for a conference, and it was a SPC organised the STAR event, and it was just a wicked event to see everybody in the Pacific sharing all of their research together.
VSA is bringing in a lot of experienced individuals, not just for the department and other sectors as well, but for the geology and mines. I think Simon's bringing in a lot of knowledge on his speciality in the field. And VSA is helping us also on financial support in some programs.
So our typical day-to-day activities are mostly office-based. But every now and again we'll get out to the field to visit a field site. For example, visit a hot springs or some area of steaming ground. Over the past year we've had 3 different trips out to the outer islands to collect data. During that time we'll spend maybe a week in the field, visiting hot springs and taking samples, talking to the local chiefs and villagers about those features and how we can maybe use them in the future and things like that. Once we've collected all of our data, we come back into the office. Michelle and I will put it all together into a report, and then that goes back out to the province for their consideration. In the end, we're hoping to make a compendium of all of the data, and then that will serve as a sort of baseline index of Vanuatu's geothermal resources. And from that we're hoping to hand over to the Department of Energy a geothermal resource potential resource map, so they can, in the future, they can assess where and when to do things in terms of geothermal development.
Well, Vanuatu is a developing country, so in terms of its energy sector, it's slowly growing, and just a few years ago we developed a national energy roadmap which identified 5 priority sectors, and one of which is on sustainable energy.
In terms of energy independence in Vanuatu, at the moment the energy sector is made up mostly of diesel generated electricity, and that's about 3/4 of the power supply. And then the rest is made up of a variety of renewables from solar, wind and hydro. The government's looking to increase the percentage of renewables to about 60% over the next 10 years. And one of the ways they can do that is by developing their geothermal power supply.
Well, of course, Vanuatu is highly vulnerable to natural disasters like tropical cyclones, earthquakes, tsunamis. So in terms of its resilience, it's good to have a diverse source of energy.
we've been working with Michelle to develop a Vanuatu approach to a geothermal site. So we're using some guidelines from New Zealand. So at the start of the year we developed a Vanuatu water sampling method with some in-house training that we ran. We use this method to come out to the field, take a sample, which will then be sent to New Zealand to the GNS Science Lab. They analyse it for us, send it back, and then we use that data to go into our geothermal resource map for future development of geothermal power. In terms of my own professional development through this VSA placement, probably the most important thing I've learned is to think about others first and to put them and their development ahead of my own personal goals, and how I can motivate myself to do that. So that's been a challenge, but also it's been pretty rewarding to do it and try and attain some sort of development here. Yeah, in terms of the skills that I've worked on while I've been here, I've definitely added a few new skills to my abilities with the water sampling and report writing for the government. It's definitely something I haven't done before, so that was good to do new things and work out how to do them. And then at the same time, trying to build capacity is not something I've done too much of before, so figuring out how to transfer skills has been good, and I think that's probably something I'd like to do back in New Zealand when I get back. It's definitely a fun part of the job.